Welcome back to another episode of Automotive Insight. Today we have a 2013 Mini Cooper Countryman S 1.6 liter turbo. This is the all-4 model, which is 4-wheel drive. Customer states that they can't get the vehicle out of park, and they have a warning message saying use the emergency release. So let's check it out. Position R&D may not be possible. So we're just going to scan the whole vehicle just to see if what all kind of codes we got. So 00A0B6 is the code we're looking at, because you don't even hear the actuator. Let's look at the live data. One simple thing to check is, and I'm pretty sure this car would probably tell you if you're having brake lamp switch issues, but it shows it's working. You can also see your brake lights are coming on. And there is a service bulletin describing what we're having with the code AOB6 and also the warning lamp message. Cause is, it could be incorrect adjustment of the Gearshift cable, or basically they spilt fluid into the gear shifter area. So with that service bulletin, I asked if they had any spilt drinks in there, and they said they had a cup of tea in it that spilled in there, had a hole in it, and I didn't see any residue. But the next step would be to gain access into here. There's tabs on 4 corners. I found kind of at the back of here to be the easiest. It's got those 4 tabs. There is evidence of a drink spilled in there. Next step is going to be to remove the gear shift assembly, which this has to come out the bottom of the vehicle. We're going to disconnect the battery. We're going to do the negative cable. It's a 10 millimeter. We'll disconnect 2 connectors. This one for the parental display, and the other for the gear shift module. We got to remove the gear shift knob and the parental display. You could actually do this in the car. You just got to pull straight up on it, and then the parental display slides off. So this connector has 2 pinch points on both sides. So I pried it up from the fastener here, or this clip, and you can take it out and do it by hand. Using a pick, disconnect the ABS module. We're going to see if we can move the coolant reservoir tank. It's a 10 millimeter, so we can just set it off to the side. So we're going to move the intake tube. The clamps are 7 millimeter, and there's 2 emission hoses we're going to remove. So we're going to remove the air box. It's held in by a T25 Torx, and then the other side like a dowel, and basically held in by a rubber grommet, and we'll disconnect the mass airflow sensor. We're going to disconnect this vacuum line here. So we're going to disconnect the gear shift bracket. They're two 13 millimeter bolts, and then we're going to loosen up from the Gearshift selector arm on the transmission. That is a 13 millimeter also. So I just loosened up the nut on the gear selector arm, and that allows you to slide the Gearshift cable out. So they want you to slide that collar back because it locks on to here. So you probably could have gotten away without taking this off. We'll fish the Gearshift cable out. We'll leave that hanging up here. We're done in the engine compartment. Next, we'll go underneath the vehicle. We're going to remove these two brackets. I'm going to leave one bolt in just loose, and we're going to pivot these out of the way. There's 8 10 millimeters. This is a 16 millimeter. We're going to remove these 4 18 millimeter bolts. This exhaust clamp is a 16 millimeter. These two nuts are 13 millimeters. We're going to see if we can leave that on there. That clamp is pretty stout. I got a ratchet strap because the exhaust is going to fall down now. So basically that's there to catch it. We're going to lower it out of the way. Ta-da! Alright, next we gotta remove this heat shield. It's pretty long, maybe 10 or so of these fasteners. They're 10 millimeter. There's two 8 millimeter screws. Remove this part of the Gearshift cable support holder thing here. Remove that. All right, there's 4 T40 bolts. All right, so I find it easier if you pry on the back side forward and down because it's got a lip on it. Now we're going to work on separating the case. There's a couple of these clips. There we go. Oh, that's our issue. Something was spilt in it, and it's gotten cold, and everything starts to move slow as molasses. So we got our new unit. Part of our, I'm not sure what happened previously, but part of it's broken because they're supposed to have, this is the emergency release. This comes as an assembly with the cable from BMW Mini. I got my bracket in tight. The Gearshift cable, just you can push it down and it'll snap back into place. So with that in place, now we're going to tighten up the gear shift selector. So we got everything in the engine compartment buttoned up, and now we're going to work on putting everything underneath back together. We got a heat shield put back in. Next we'll work on putting the exhaust and the brackets back on. Reinstall the exhaust clamp. Tighten the 4 18mm bolts. Everything underneath the vehicle is buttoned up. Now we're going to work on connecting the gear shift assembly module and also putting the prindle back in place. No warning message. Gear shift works normal. Alright, well that wraps up another one. We went back in with the scan tool, cleared all the codes. As you saw, the gear shift is working normal. No warning message. This is just interesting enough that this issue has happened a lot that they included that into the technical service bulletin as a possible damage. I guess a lot of spilled drinks happen in a Mini. The gear shift assembly came brand new from a BMW Mini. It cost about $800. So it's quite an expensive assembly, and it takes about 4 hours to do. The sugar makes the solenoid sticky and you can't physically move it out of park, and it's also got a switch in there to tell you if it's actually released. So, but anyway, if you like what you saw today, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Said I'll pick you up at 8.